Hi, welcome to Spirits Freedom Farm. Today I want to give you a quick tour of our fall garden. Our summer garden did okay. This was a weird year, 2020, but our fall garden is doing pretty well. Probably our best fall garden so far. So I want to give you a quick tour and show you what we've got. Mostly I just planted seeds that we had left over from spring, our cool weather crops. So our first bed here, we have some Danvers carrots and some scarlet nantas. Now I did buy the nantas carrots specifically for the fall this year. I hadn't tried them yet and I just wanted to give those a try. So that's what we have here. You can see a couple gaps where the cats like to help after the plants start coming up. They like to flatten them out for us. So we have a few spots where the cats have helped. And then this bed I have some Amarillo carrots and some Kyoto Red. Kyoto Red are specifically for fall. So we'll see how those guys do. And then here I just planted the bean seeds that I had left over, the purple TP and the Georgia Roquefort. You can see these are doing really well for fall, these beans. I really need to get in here and harvest. They're doing much better than they did in the summer, so that's very exciting. I'm looking forward to some fresh beans, maybe putting some up for Thanksgiving. And in this bed, I just planted the beet seeds that we had left from spring, Detroit Red and Cylindra, and I put a little bit of Swiss chard down the middle. I don't know why. I did that in a few beds. You'll see. It's just what I did. So, but those are coming along, and you can actually see here. These are going to be ready to harvest, and some of them might even be ready to harvest now. There's a Detroit Red, and then you can see a few of these Cylindra beets are getting nicely sized. And our next bed over here, I've got some Cosmic Purple carrots. Those are the ones that are purple skinned and bright orange in the middle. Those are really pretty, and they taste pretty good too. I ordered some, and then I also got a free packet from Baker Creek. They sent me an extra packet, so we had plenty of those. We have a whole half bed of those. And then here I planted parsnips again for the fall. We'll see how well they do. The germination looks about similar to what the past ones. I'm not sure if it's me or what, but we seem to have sparse or limited germination on the parsnips. We have gaps usually, so I'll have to figure out what the issue is with that. Or maybe it's just parsnips. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of time to look it up. And as you can see, we have some maple trees nearby, so we have a lot of maple leaves covering everything. So, and in this bed I have turnips, mash, and spinach. And the turnips are doing really well, and of course I've got another row of Swiss chard down the middle for whatever reason. If you look here, some of these turnips, this one looks like it's getting almost too big. And then you can see the little tiny mash plants here coming up, and the spinach. So once we pull the turnips, we may plant some more greens in here. There's some more turnips here. See those? It's a really good year for our turnips. And then the next bed over, I have kale and green onions and some Swiss chard. And you can see I just pulled a little guy off of this yesterday. So we had a little cabbage worm taking advantage there. And then over here I have some red mustard greens that I planted. I don't remember if I ordered those specifically or if Baker Creek sent those to me free. I was going to plant mustard greens anyhow. They may have, that might be one they decided to send me. I'm not sure, but I'm excited for those. And then the same two lettuces that we grew in the spring, we're growing again. A speckled romaine and I think Little Gem, like a butter crunch lettuce. And lots of greens. And a few weeds. Okay, and so we have some cabbages in a couple of beds as well. This one I've got some Napa cabbages here. Oops, and a grasshopper. Oh boy, you are not invited. Look at this. Yep. See, they already did the number on my cabbages earlier, and I've gotten them to come back. But these are bad guys. These are actually chicken food. Our little molting chickens will love the extra protein. But so I've got some Napa cabbages. I've got some red cabbage. And you can see the damage that they had done. They put a little bit of neem oil on, and that seemed to keep the cabbage worms off for a while. But we've had a lot of rain the last few days, so. And then you can see there's some lettuces in here. These are actually, we grew this lettuce. This is the bed we grew lettuce in for the spring. And I just, when it went to seed, I just let the lettuces stay that came up. So we'll see. They may or may not be true, but they'll be delicious, I'm sure. And oh, and I planted a little bit of dill in here. There may be a couple more underneath the leaves, I'm not sure. And then this next bed over here we have some green cabbage and some broccoli. Kind of taking a peek to see if we have any more critters that we don't want eating our cabbage. I don't see any, but as you can tell, they hide really well. They blend in very well with the leaves. And then we've got some dill in here as well, and the dill that we had last year. I was hoping the seed would ripen, but some of it just never did ripen. So I may just come back through here and harvest the leaves, which I may do with the other dill. I don't know that it is going to be warm enough for the dill I just planted to ever go to seed. But and I'll mention here, this is a system that we used last year for protecting our crops from frost. We have just some rebar and this blue plastic PVC going over a PFX or something like that, going over it, bent over. We will add like a spine across the top so that if anything comes in the middle, it won't flex these apart and flatten on the plants. We just haven't done that yet. But we'll put a spine of this same stuff across there, attached with some rubberized zip ties so they won't slide. And then we use this clear construction plastic, which right now is on the ground. But we just pull that over and weight it down with boards or rocks, whatever we've got handy. And last year we were harvesting cabbage and so forth and kale in the snow, and it worked really well for us. Last year was not an overly harsh winter. The winter before was. So we'll see how this does for us this year. I could be wrong. I think we're going to have a pretty cold winter. So we'll let you know how this does for us. But we're hoping that we'll be able to continue harvesting cabbage and so forth. Alright, so this bed we have peas. I have some garden peas at this end and some sugar snap at this end. And then just in the little gaps, I've got some parsley here. It will not get very, and a couple of weeds. I need to come back in here and weed some more, don't I? But we don't have any flowers yet on these, but we're starting to get a couple of flowers on the garden peas. So, now we were going to put plastic over this one as well, but because of the trellis, we did a slightly different system. This trellis was one we already had, and we just reused it rather than cut it up again. That's why it's in this funky shape, is just so we didn't have to recut it and try to keep replanting every time. And I've got these wooden stakes here just to keep the plastic from resting on the plants. And then I'm going to cut up a pool noodle. I've got here just an old pool noodle. I'm going to cut it up into small pieces to put around the top, also so the plastic won't be resting on the top of the trellis and risk ripping. So we'll see how it works. We've not done that before, but we're going to just try it out, and we'll let you know if that works out well for us or not. So, but we're excited. Things are doing really well and staying green. We've got, we don't have our garlic planted yet, so we're going to get that planted in. We've got a lot of garlic. In addition to what I have left over, I ordered a bunch, so I ended up preserving all the garlic that we grew, and I bought a bunch from my gardener. We're going to plant a lot of garlic, so we're excited for that too. We'll see if we have room for what I bought. All right, and one more bed. So here the nasturtium flowers were still doing pretty well. So I left them. I'm still harvesting some seeds and things from the nasturtium across the front of the bed here. But in the back, I put radishes. So I've got 2 plantings so far. At this far end, gosh, it's been probably at least 3 weeks. But in the fall, because the daylight hours are fewer than in the spring and summertime, things tend to take 10 to 14 days longer to mature. So normally radishes are done in about 3 weeks, ready to harvest. So these might take 5 or 6 weeks before they're ready. So I've got a second planting here, and here pretty soon I'll do, oh looky, got a little baby nasturtium that came up. We'll plant around it, I guess. But we'll put another planting of radishes in here, and have those coming on in shifts. But there you go. That is our fall garden. The nasturtium may not last under the plastic. I don't know. I've not had those. I've not kept those under the plastic before, so I'm not sure how they'll do. But we'll find out. So, hope you enjoyed our tour. Let us know what you're growing for fall. Thanks. All right. Oh, there you go. There you go. Ow! There you go, Edame. Girl, I only had 3, sorry guys. We'll bring you some other treats later.
Please visit the blog post linked in the video description below for more information about this video and the supplies used.